Good day. This is just some additional review just to emphasize the concept that we did in class. Now, the main concept is when we're moving from a larger to a smaller unit, we are going to multiply. And when we move from a smaller to a larger unit, we are going to divide. So if we are moving in this direction, this is where we have the smallest to the largest unit, we are going to be dividing. So the smallest is pico 10 to the minus 12. Then we have nano 10 to the minus 9. Now nano is a very small unit, but it is larger than pico because we're moving in this direction. So this will tell us that the largest unit is tera, which is 10 to the 12. Very different to pico, which is 10 to the minus 12. Now, if we're moving in the opposite direction, where we're moving from a larger unit to a smaller unit, then we are going to multiply. That is the core concept behind our conversions. Now, if we look at this first example, we have 5 kilometers, 2 meters. This is what is kilo? 10 to the 3. So we're moving from kilo, which is a larger unit, to a smaller unit, which is meters. That means we multiply. But how much do we multiply by? 10 to the 3. Where did we get 10 to the 3 from? Kilo is 10 to the 3. Okay? So if you just put this in your calculator, you have 5 by 10 to the 3. That would give you 5,000 meters. 10 to the 3 is basically 1,000. Okay? Now, if we look at this, 3 millimeters to meters. So we're going from a smaller unit to a larger unit. Now, a very easy way of doing this is just multiplying this by 10 to the minus 3. Why? Because if we put 10 to the minus 3 in our calculator, this is essentially 0.001. So you're multiplying 3 by 0.001, you're going to get 0.003 meters. Okay, now what this essentially is, because we're moving from a smaller unit to a larger unit, you're basically dividing. So if you had taken 3 and you had divided it by 1,000, you would get the same thing. If you shift the decimal place, 1, 2, 3, then we would get 0.003 meters. Okay? Now, if we look at number 1, we have 7 kilometers to meters. Kilo is 10 to the 3. We're moving from a larger unit to a smaller unit, so we can just put this into the calculator, which would give us 7,000. Or you can just say 7 by 1,000, and this would also give you 7,000. For 2,500 meters, 2 kilometers, we're moving from a smaller unit to a larger unit. Okay, so we know before that 10 to the 3 is equal to 1,000. So all we do is just put 2,500 divided by 1,000. This is going to give us 2.5 kilometers. Okay, now 6 millimeters, 2 meters, we're moving from a smaller unit to a larger unit, and we also divide. Okay, so we can have milli. What milli means is milli is 10 to the minus 3. So we can say 6 by 10 to the minus 3, and this is going to give us 0.006 meters. Now, 10 to the minus 3 is the same as 0.001. Or we can also work it out this way. We're moving from a smaller to a larger unit. We can simply just divide by 1,000, because this is essentially what we're doing. It's 10 to the minus 3. So 6 divided by 1000 is equal to, you shift the decimal place 3 times, 1, that's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. So you have 2 zeros in front. 0.006 meters. Okay, so that's basically it.